Let's talk about goals. So this being in January, it's really a prime time to start thinking about what it is that you want to accomplish through the year. So I think part of the reason I'm getting an uptick in viewership on my channel is because agents get back into the swing of things come January and want to lean on resources and training to better their game. I think the biggest thing that we can all do is really think about what it is that we want to accomplish as our goals this year. And whether that's production based or something else, you need to really take time right now, if you haven't already, to think about what you want to accomplish and put together a strategy to achieve it. So a couple of things I'm going to talk about. There's a lot of different ways to properly goal set, if you will. Some are probably better than others, but I wanted to try to water this down to be as simple as possible of a process that I do myself, but also I think you can implement as well. So I think the first thing you've really, and all of these questions are very serious. They're not something that I think you should be flippant about. You should really give a lot of thought and consideration to this in designing and assessing your goal plan. So the big question you need to ask yourself when it comes to goals and what you want to accomplish is, what do you want? What do you want from the insurance business? What is it that you want out of this? What is your goal? What is the lifestyle that you want? What is your dream? You need to be really thinking about what would it be like in the perfect world where I'm selling insurance? How would my life be? When would I work? How much money would I make? What activities would I do in my free time? How much free time would I have? If that's important to you, you really need to think about what it is that you want to accomplish. Building on that is to ask yourself again, is this what you really want? Not everybody wants to retire in 5 years. Maybe some of us just want meaning or significance out of our lives, and that's fine. And we don't want to necessarily quit and get away from the profession that provides that. So I think, again, really question yourself if what it is that you think that you want is really that important to you. Because what you want to focus on in your goal setting is one thing only that is going to be the most responsible for your success, and go all in on that. We talk a lot about that when we do product selection for new agents. I don't want my agents, for example, doing final expense Medicare annuities as a brand new agent. I want them to focus on one thing, get good at one thing, then build out over time as they earn the right to. It's kind of the same concept with a goal setting. You don't want to be in a position where you're going to do 5 different things to accomplish one goal, or I'm going to sell half of my time on the phone and half of my time face-to-face. I had a conversation with a couple agents who were thinking that's the direction they were going, and I kind of gave them my 2 cents on it as far as focusing on one over the other. So once you decide what you really want, the next thing you have to ask yourself is this, are you willing to pay the price to get it? I used to hear this a lot in a lot of motivational goal setting type of training. Brian Tracy, Zig Ziglar, there's a lot of others too as well. And they commonly talked about paying the price. Initially you think, well, what's the price to pay? Money, leads. I'm not talking about that. It's just that you can't have everything you want in life, but you can have anything in life that you want. So as long as it's not everything. The key point being focus. That's the implication here. And I think if you want something bad enough, it means you're not going to have something else too. And there's a price to pay in order to do that effectively. So let me give you an example. When I got into the insurance business in my mid-20s, I'm 35 now, it was important for me to, in my mind, to give myself, to pay my dues for as long as possible, because even though I was young and I wish I had more time to do things that I didn't end up doing, I knew in the long term, at this time I had 1 child, now I've got 4, I knew it would be a better lifestyle for me if I paid my dues, sacrificed and suffered and struggled. And I did, as you know, I failed out. If you haven't watched the video on that, came back in the business, of course. But I wanted to pay my dues now because I've seen this with agents I deal with. I personally thought that it's a lot harder to take a chance like that when you've got a mortgage, you've got bills to pay, you've got kids to put in the school, and there's a lot of financial demands. So, and the business requires time, so when you think about what is the price that you're going to pay, regardless of what age you're at, you've got to pay the price. And what I believe in the final expense business, at least really in any business model, and you can't look at somebody who's just an absolute savant at the business. I tend to think that the agents who are good at this business or any insurance sales business get it right away. They find a system, they find a lead program, they find a product they like, and they apply it, and they start to see if it's something they enjoy or not. And they may not be as best as they will be, but they should have a general kind of bias in a positive way towards it. Even with that, it's going to take you, and you should have the perspective of having 3 to 5 years before you really master the craft of whatever it is that you're selling and maximize your income. Again, I got an agent, first year, full year in the business, he's probably over 400,000 in business. Okay, he's 22. Not everybody is going to be that way. So it took me probably till year 2 before I made 6 figures. Year 2 to year 3, somewhere in there, because I quit out and got back in. So, everybody's going to be kind of different, but I think generally speaking, the safe play is to always expect it's going to take longer than you want, and you've got to be willing to pay that price. That means, like for me, the price I paid to get where I'm at now, I worked weekends for years. I would come home at 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, multiple nights a week. I wouldn't be around my family that often, especially when I started recruiting. That brought on a huge responsibility on top of my full-time personal production. And, I probably missed out on a lot, from my son's younger age. But I think, and it's tough to do that, of course, and that was the price I think I had to pay. But it's something that I'm, in a sense, glad that I did, because now I'm at this point where, personally, I can be there all the time for my children and my wife. I work out of the home now. I've got a great thing going on with my business. But it's all because I laid that groundwork in the beginning. And you have to be willing to pay that price. And you have to accept that it may not happen as fast as you'd like it to. I tend to think there's like some mystical spirit in the sky that's watching us, the final expense of gods, as I like to say. And they're always throwing something in front of us to trip us up and get us running into difficulty and not getting the results we want. And then at some point, years later, they just quit doing it because they realize you're not going to quit. So you have to have that never quit mentality. So, and then last but not least, burn the bridges. When you decide on a particular method of generating business, of getting out in the field, seeing the people, and being in a position to where you know what you want to do, put blinders on and fully commit to it 100%. Tip to all you new agents, what I have discovered personally, professionally, as well as with the most successful agents I've associated with, is they really, 90% of them do one thing extremely well. And that's all they do. Whether it's Adam, who sold 1,000 Medicare Advantage plans last year, Anthony Martin, who wrote over $1 million in final expense business over the phone, sight unseen. They only do one thing. They're not putting their hands into different pots. They're not doing other products. It tends to be that you get distracted from the main source. So you want to be all in and invested on whatever process that you go to. And remember, the way you win this game long term is to be fully committed over time. Most people will waver in their level of commitment and seriousness to the business, which is the reason why a lot of people fail out. They run through frustrations. They get angry. They get mad at our prospects, again, stuff I've all experienced. And they get to a point where they quit because they just can't take it anymore. So, but you have to have, this is mostly a mental battle between you and yourself. You've got to be able to overcome that if you want to have any kind of success. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video on selling final expense. And I want to invite you, if you are in the process of getting licensed, already are licensed, or are unhappy with the insurance agency you're partnered with to sell final expense, to get a second opinion, to check out what it is that I have to offer to help final expense agents or aspiring final expense agents like you become top producers selling final expense. And here's how you can learn more about how my mentorship, coaching, and agency recruiting program works. You can go to davidduford.com, click Join Dave's Agency at the top, and there you're going to find a ton of information on how my program works nationally, coast to coast, for those of you out there that want to sell final expense life insurance. I've been doing this since 2011,
recruiting since 2013. More than 1,000 agents have worked with me at one point or another, and I know how to train agents to become top producers. I myself am a personal producer in the final expense business and know it intimately and can help those of you out there that want to maximize your game to get the best results possible. So again, here's how you find out more about our program, see if it's right for you. Go to davidduford.com, click Join Dave's Agency at the top, and jump right into all the videos to figure out if my opportunity is right for you. You take care. Thanks for watching.